In this video, I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin and why the markets crash. So, Bitcoin, as we can see, the price is like going lower and lower. The market cap in general in the crypto is just terrible. Um, it kind of like it tested the lows of this year a week ago, and I mean we're talking about the 410 billion market cap. Right now, market cap somewhere around 333, if I recall correct. So we're wondering like why does this happen? Okay, I I look around this and I see that there's a lot of market manipulation happening. There's a lot of price manipulation. I want you guys to think about the incident where we had the owners of, sorry, the banking heads, so J.P. Morgan, rubbishing Bitcoin, calling it a scam, and after it plummeted, they went in to buy loads of it and became like the fourth biggest uh, Bitcoin holder within within a very short span of time. Subsequently, J.P. Morgan has also restricted their clients from investing in Bitcoin and other crypto. So that's that's obviously something that we're looking at as it's very self-serving. Okay, uh, the current week, when we ask ourselves why is it going down, a very natural reaction is to check out all the crypto sites and try hard as you may to find out a reason to understand what's happening in the markets. Is that true or true, right? Personally, when I see the price go up dramatically, I go in and check the various sites. I look at a few of them. I like uh, I like Coin. That's the best. Obviously, there's also Bitcoin.com. I like Blockonomy.com. I check out um, Cointelegraph. I don't look at it most of the time because Cointelegraph, they have a lot of negative stuff a fair amount of the time as well. And then I check out like John McAfee. He's a big crypto advocate. When the markets go down, I do the exact same thing. I check out these sites, and sometimes I just go into Google and I just like type in Bitcoin news, Ethereum news, and it's going to pick up some kind of information. So I think back about the time when I was in my country. I came from Singapore, and when I look in the newspapers, there was a period of time where there was a lot of locals going out of Singapore to go to work in different countries to immigrate, so-called find greener pastures and the like. And what was often done is that the government would be okay. No, let's put it this way: there will be a lot of news about locals getting killed in foreign countries, beaten up, getting racist treatment, uh, getting their rights taken away, blah blah blah, and in a very short amount of time, it's very easy to have people around you talking to you and say that, are you still thinking of emigrating? I don't think it's such a good idea. Look at what's happened to these Singaporeans who've gone abroad. And at this point of time, when we look at the crypto market crash, we look at Bitcoin where it is. In fact, as of right now, I think it's as opportune a time as November 20-ish last year, where the price was really low. So if you missed out back then, it's now back at that price again. But let's look at why it's at that price again, and what sense can we make of that? So at this point of time, the people all around you are probably starting to say that, well, it seems that it was a bad decision after all to even have considered investing in crypto, to even have considered investing in Bitcoin. Um, it seems that with all these news reports, like people getting hacked, people losing their money, people going into debt because of borrowing. No, people going into debt that they cannot repay because of borrowing large sums of money, over leveraging themselves, and investing in the crypto coins. So this is, in my opinion, all right, it's opinion, but I believe this is very true. It's a construct. It's a very social. It's a construct of social thinking, social psychology, that and we ask why. We ask why this happens. Okay. I believe, again, it's a thought. I believe that there could be a lot of people, uh, a lot of very wealthy people, they are looking into the media to push things down. There are different ways. I mean, the really different like reasons why this could be done. Well, the wealthy may want to get the media to push down the market so they can buy in cheap. At the same time, the governments may want to orchestrate the whole thing. And we see that it's kind of ironic as well that governments are starting to put out their own kind of cryptos, you know, to kind of like they see where the trend is headed, but they don't want people to follow it, or rather they don't want money to be taken out of the country. They want it to stay within the country instead. So when Russia has put out something, a couple of other countries have put out something. Even Singapore, they have actually built something based on the Ethereum, the ERC20. Uh, it's along the lines of Tether, in my opinion. Tether is like they are supposed to be on an equal exchange to the USD. So at this point of time, I personally think the whole thing is a scam, as in the media is out there. At this point of time, if you look around in the media, everyone like okay, you go on. It's interesting how you go on the internet, you can hardly find any so-called shit about the coins, the various coins, the crypto market. Um, like the only thing that you ever find is probably matter-of-fact reporting, and you see like positive news about for instance, ICBC Bank in China is now currently sending out a bunch of ATMs where people can actually buy Bitcoin and other coins. Not too long ago, Japan was actually also just distributing ATMs where people could buy into various cryptocurrencies nationwide. And not too long ago as well, I think it was just a few days ago, uh, there was another country, I can't remember what it was it Norway or something, that they actually wanted to support the Ripple means of exchange, to use Ripple as a platform for wire transfer, or they want to experiment with it. So if you look around, there's a lot of news going on. There's a lot of good news, a lot of positivity for the markets, and I wonder why the price is going down. But when I look into the local newspapers, I'm not surprised. It's full of doom and gloom, and you can call it the government's way of like kicking. Yeah, Madhu, I'll get to that question in a bit. In fact, I just answered it in my Binary Lab Elite group yesterday. So I can see that the governments are just trying to kick it when it's down, and basically, kind of like you want to seal off people's hopes of investing into something that could actually change their lives. You want to kind of like that people's minds are very weak, and also they will succumb to they'll succumb to what they see and hear, and especially when people around them, friends and family, are actually giving them similar messages as well. So it's just like a negative reinforcement, and this is the reason why markets crash. And like I explained earlier, we saw how J.P. Morgan very obviously manipulated the markets to actually get themselves in at a very good price, so they could buy in Bitcoin in the big rally. And then we look at how South Korea, when they recently had the markets, like really sink. One of the ministers, he was actually found guilty for facilitating insider trading and manipulating the price. So I think there's a lot of manipulation that's happening now, very, very intentionally by the media. The best thing that we can do in this circumstance is, well, thank the media and do what they're probably trying to help some super rich people do, which is to actually buy in at a lower price. I did a Fibonacci extension based on like a 4-hour chart, a 12-hour chart yesterday, and what I'm looking at as the bottom right now, I mean the immediate support, we're actually looking at the 6,000. A lot of analysts have been talking about the 6,600, and so that's kind of holding up. It could be at that point, but from my perspective, I'm looking at 6,000. So in my email that I sent out yesterday, there's a couple of things that you can really do. Okay, number one, if you think it's a fairly good enough bargain price, buy in. But another way of doing it is that, like personally, all right, uh, I would buy in more if it hits 6,000. But if it as it is right now, I'm just staying put. So I personally like to also wait for some kind of a bullish confirmation before entering. I don't really mind to lose out on about a little bit of profit, just to ensure that we are really at the bottom. This has always been my concept, and actually, well, I wanted to share with you that like Olim Trade actually has binary options on Bitcoin. Uh, IQ, they used to, but now they just allow you to buy crypto, which is great. Okay, so I think IQ is like the best way to buy crypto at the moment, because you can just like fund in with a credit card or like online wallet. If you fund in with a credit card, within minutes you can start. If you use like Skrill to deposit, I also think it's within minutes. If not, it's like a little bit more time than that. Uh, so I'm gonna put, after this video, just check the description. Like Olim Trade, I'm gonna put a link for that. That one you can actually like trade Bitcoin. I think it's like 80% payout per winning trade. So it's super no-brainer. In a few days from now, you can basically just do like the call trades, call trades, call trades. It's no-brainer. Like put it on a 5-minute chart, keep hitting the call button. You're just gonna keep winning again and again. IQ apparently, like from what I understand from the people in the company, they actually took out the Bitcoin option, which they once had at 50%, because they said that even at 50%, they were actually like losing a lot of money to traders who were just making calls at 50% payout, because at the point of time in December where the market was rallying really strong, it was just so easy to get repeat profit. So that's one great idea for you guys to explore. I'm going to put the link in the video description for Olim Trade, and for IQ option, I'm going to put a link where you guys can instantly buy into cryptos. At this point of time, I think like Bitcoin's a bargain. Up to this point, I would have thought that Ethereum was holding up really well, but Ethereum just finally had a big drop the last day. All right, they were holding very well, close to 800, and it finally like tanked to like 600-ish. So based on the top price of 1400 and the fact that so many of the ICOs are based on Ethereum, so I think that Ethereum will recover very well. And then there's also Neo. Neo is like the Ethereum of China. Um, they've come close to 200, and now it's like at 80. So I think that's another bargain as well. Um, I wouldn't be looking at the ICOs in the meantime, because I think just from the main coins with track record, there is, I mean, the bigger, more known altcoins, there's just so much opportunity right now. Like there's Stellar, um, there's like NEM, there's a whole bunch of them that's very good. So like seriously ask yourselves, like, why is the news just reporting about people losing their bitcoins through broker theft, through phishing scams? like people losing their houses and their retirement fund. So that is that is all like social psychology construct that the governments are trying to do with the media. And just now there was a comment on the screen that I think was really good. Someone said, like, oh, oh yeah, that's you, dreaming large. You said like the rich get richer. Well, I think there's an opportunity for us, I mean the common person, to get richer, because right now that it's fairly obvious that the rich and the governments are manipulating the price. Let's just let's just go with what they're trying to do, and except that rather than keep away, we're actually stepping in where they'll be stepping in. So we just try to think along the lines of what they'll be doing, and we'll just basically do the same thing as well. Is that 4,900 right now? I just checked before this, it was like 63-ish, but I think definitely a very strong, um, that's definitely a very strong buy point if it does get there. Um, but nonetheless, like I said, I don't really, like personally, for my approach, the way I trade crypto is no different from binary. And when I say I trade, what I do is that I don't just I don't just buy, okay? I I I buy and sell. Uh, so obviously I have like the a bulk of it, which I got early-ish. Like it's not super early. I kind of missed the boat several times, and but I did get in at several good levels. Um, and the bulk of it, I'm not doing much, but there's a bulk of what I have, which I kind of like do in and outs, especially in the last couple of days. I just throw up a 2 hour, 4 hour chart, look to see there's some kind of a confirmation uh, of it being bullish, and then basically I use the binary style where I trade to actually get out, and I go in and out and actually make like 5% here, 10% there. uh, Bitcoin hasn't been as profitable as some of the other ones with the swings. There's just so much activity in the IQ. Like there's charting that you can check out. And they have like 14 cryptos listed right now. So, and the best part, they dropped their commission from like 10% to like 3.9%. So it's been quite a blast just trading in and outs, and but with in and outs trading, you want to kind of like just um, you want to kind of like just watch to where the consolidations will end, because there will definitely be a breakout at some point. And a lot of people who actually trade and convert from the concept of trading to investing is probably when they miss the boat. I've missed the boat in the past. Like there was a period of time where I was doing in-out trading the swings of the various like altcoins, and then actually making very good returns. And then suddenly, I was seeing how other people who didn't make all these in-outs possibly make more money than I did just because I missed the whole spike. Like sometimes, when it goes up so fast that on a 4 hour chart, um, like one bar could already be 2,000 on Bitcoin. It could already be a 20% move, and before you know it, there's not much left movement to be had. So I would say draw a lot of support resistance lines, um, and that's your best bet. You know, connect these connect the tops and bottoms. Do as much correlation as possible. Go out to different time frames. Zoom out the charts. Um, your charts is going to look like a spider web, okay? But that's your best bet to help you identify when the consolidation is going to end and go into a breakout. When I say drawing your support resistances, it doesn't have to be straight lines. It can be diagonal lines as well. So like I said, it should look like a spider web by the time you do it. So watch out to those points. Look out for pennants as well. Pennants are the triangulations of the market. I always believe that the breakout in the last 20-30% of a pennant is when the strongest breakouts will happen. So I want to look out for pennants, and then when it breaks, when it seems to be kind of a pennant, I tend to go negative by as in I take it negatively, or rather pessimistically, by drawing a rectangle upon a pennant, and then I'll see if it's still looking as though it's breaking out. And then what I do after that is that like, yeah, basically, and those are the things I do. So I watch out, and oh, the other thing, the other possibility is like uh, the, the pennants going to a full like close, because like sometimes the breakout doesn't happen in the last 20-30%, and then at that point of time, just prepare for sideways. But the sideways is good. The sideways is when it will set up for a bigger breakout. All right. So I mean, I'm dishing a lot of valuable information here, just kind of rambling, but I hope you, yeah, I mean, for those of you who are able to make sense of what I said, and good on you, because there's a lot of good information that I'm actually sharing with you guys here. If you're looking into being a part of the Binary Lab Elite program, I think we're actually in the last few hours of a promo that I'm running. It's like what's close to 50% off the regular joining price. There's a lot of people who actually grumble as to, why did I put a price tag on Binary Lab? It used to be free, isn't it? Well, actually, for those who are in, it's still free, as in they still have access to the forum, the old videos. Binary Lab is a totally different project that I've actually created as a step up. I've given free transition invitations in the early stages, and then I've given like discounted transitions as well. This is probably like the third and the last one that I'm doing. And one of the other reasons why I'm doing that also is because um, like it's basically the only way to kind of stay legal about this, or rather like in line with what the regulators will want. Like, if I could have it my way, I would prefer, I would very much prefer, in fact, if people just open broker accounts and learn for free. Um, why? Because like, it's natural that anyone who does well is going to keep redepositing, uh, trading more, trading bigger, and that's you know like that kind of turnover is really good for me as a broker introducer. Is good, But the thing is that there's just so many transparency rules or other anti-transparency rules that that SciSec namely wants to set up. So things like was that I should not have direct contact with people who I refer. I should not be influencing how they trade, how much they trade, blah blah blah. They should be as anonymous as possible, and for all these reasons, like brokers have done away with abilities to let us know who we refer, just to be compliant, and in the process of doing so, well, basically you just had to go a different route. I honestly prefer the old route, so don't get me wrong, I prefer the old route, but in the meantime, this is what's happening. Um, there are some markets out there though, like the Asian markets specifically, um, that SciSec doesn't have a reach upon and not anywhere soon. So I'm actually looking to do kind of a learn for free promo, uh, starting with my home country, Singapore, quite soon. Singapore, Malaysia. Just looking at it, speaking to the people in the broker, if I can actually do that. All right. Just trying to find my way around this, because like I said, I from I would like to keep to the original vision as much as I could, basically profiting as people profit, rather than putting people out of pocket by making them join the program. Uh, but for those in Europe, for those in the United States, at this point in time, like for those in the United States, the reason why I'll rather charge a fee is because there's just a lack of good brokers out there, and many of them unfortunately, they kind of like show up for a while, and they kind of like disappear, or perhaps the account support is bad, um, or that they're run by betting companies, blah blah blah. So I rather much instead like ask for a joining fee, and then they can join whatever broker they wish. Um, and for those in Europe, well, it's just criteria. Well, there's just so much of this anti-transparency regulations that basically had to go for this route instead. All right. Uh, so just check out the comments tab. Do I still do? Do I still do forex seminars? I never did. I never did forex seminars. I do binary. I do binary webinars pretty much, and binary is actually really good. The only reason why I'm coming out here talking about Bitcoin and the market crash once again is because I think it's a bloody good opportunity. So if you guys haven't actually, like looked into this, or you looked into it and you thought, I missed the boat, I missed the boat. Well, the boat's back again. Uh, you have opportunity to buy for 33% of what has been proven in history to be the high. Uh, the last webinar, I didn't actually do any trades because of a new method that I've been teaching students to filter out trades that actually minimizes losing setups by 90%. So that actually showed to us that there were no qualifying setups, so no trades were taken on the last webinar. A day before that, I did a webinar for my Thai community, and yes, we did 2 trades during the hour session, and they were like they took off and went like rockets, basically in the correct directions. So in my webinars, which I still do weekly, um, and in fact, I'll be dedicating my next 5 webinars to be like purely binary for most part, and if there's any updates and important information, I'll actually put them at the very end. Um, for example, like crypto and like picks and all that, I'll put them at the very end of the webinar. So look out for that. But the webinar itself, I'll be going over the webinar. Sorry, I'll be going over the binary setups, like how to filter. Based on the filters, do we do a breakout? Do we do a reversal? And then I'll look out for some past examples, some perfect setups, some so-so setups, identify them so the students know. Pick out some setups as to why certain trades, pick out some losing setups and ask students based on what they learned from me, to comment in the chat during the webinar as to why these trades lost. So I'll tell them whether it's the correct answer, wrong answer, and I'll pick out some live examples as well, and it's quite different from what it used to be. I mean, like it used to be like 4 to 6 sessions per week of live trading, but back then I realized that too many people were not taking enough accountability for their own trading. They were just like taking like signals program. It's never meant to be signals. It's, I mean, in my opinion, like people who come in for signals, they're like they're the most hard to deal with, most draining people to talk to, because they just don't follow instructions. Like um, they don't right size their trades. So instead, I rather go from the angle of teaching, and I use this weekly webinar instead to answer questions about trading. I also like kind of like correct and point out mistakes that students may be making based on screenshots that they send me and live questions that they have. And obviously in the the scenarios that I'll point out in the webinars itself, then they learn how to better deal with the markets. I think that's so much better. So there are some questions as to how to get to the webinars. Well, join the Binary Lab Elite program. Once again, I'll be putting 3 links at the end of this video. One, I'll be putting a link of a broker that allows you to trade cryptos as binary option. You get like 80% payout. And I'll be putting a link for IQ, which allows you to instantly buy and sell crypto. Yeah, you can short sell. Yeah, you don't have to just hold long positions. You can short sell as well. If you do this through the exchanges, well, you can't actually do that. I'll be putting a link to the Binary Lab promo, which will be taken down in just a few hours from now. So if that's what you're looking at, well, just check the video. In about 10 minutes from now, it's going to process, and then the video links, no, sorry, the links will all be added to the description. All right, thanks for being a good support on this live YouTube video. Expert option, yeah, I'm aware of that, but expert option, I decided to stop promoting them because, like, I don't know, there was a case of them not honoring the profits of some of the traders within the community that we have in Binary Lab, and then also that I felt that there was like there was unforgivable technical issues, as in, you know, like we referred certain people to the broker, but and then we actually checked, but you know, they somehow just disappeared from the account. So I felt that they were actually like ripping off they were ripping off the trader, they were ripping off us as well. So we decided not to work with them. And even the website, their capture pages were kind of like I don't know why, they just lose tracking. So tracking was a nightmare, and then plus the disappearing the disappearing like students from the database, that is unforgivable. So we stopped working with them. Alright, so that's basically all I wanted to say in this video. It's quite a bit of stuff, quite a lot of ramble. There is some golden nuggets of knowledge. I hope you guys, you know, check this out from the start if you came in late, and apply the knowledge that you have to make more money in the markets. Bye for now. Good trading.